What up, homies? Welcome back to Trial and Error. So where we last left off on this, I just kind of finished up the back half to support the axle, the rear axle, so that we could kind of have a rolling chassis, rolling frame. And we are now on to building the roll cage, which will comprise of the roll cage itself, but also the whole back half beyond the back of the axle that will support the trunk area and all of that stuff. It's going to be quite a bit of metal there and quite a project. And it is one that I've never done before, so it's always entertaining to watch an idiot bumble his way through something new. So I present to you for your entertainment a Cage Building 101. We'll start by getting our main hoop in place. So this piece is already pre-bent, but you do have to cut it down to the height that you need. So that's kind of the first puzzle piece, and we build everything else off of this main hoop. So I picked this tubing notcher up for this project. First time I get to use it. Works incredibly well. You can use it with a drill press, obviously, and you can also use it with a hand drill, but I'll link it in the description. It's a cool tool. The roll cage kit that I ordered for this car actually isn't made for this car. This kit was made for A-bodies, and for whatever reason, A-body roll cages were half the price of G-body, or was it B-body? I don't remember which. But at any rate, it wasn't the right kit for the car, and that's okay because I figured I was customizing everything anyway. I was just trying to get the best dollar per piece of steel I could find. So far it's worked out good. Main hoop is like perfect. The halo wasn't exactly perfect, so I had to do some work to make that fit. And now we're working on these front support bars, and the only problem with them is this bend isn't aggressive enough. So luckily, most of the bending work's been done for me, and I just need to put it in my bender and probably put another 10 degrees or so into it to get it where I need it. So that's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna bend this a little bit further down, so I'll go slightly off center, off of the original bend. Try to make that section a little bit longer and I'm also trying not to kink it at all, so I'm going to bend it kind of in two different places. Here's one of these, this tool is one of those Harbor Freight tools that you can't beat for the money. No real frills to it, but it doesn't need any. It's just basically putting 12 tons of pressure on a piece of steel. So for, I think, 139 bucks. And I'll put a link in the description. You can get them on Amazon too. But for, you know, a little over 100 bucks to be able to bend Schedule 40, Schedule 80 steel pipe, and then DOM stuff, it's a really good deal. I haven't figured out what I just can't commit to mounting this somewhere yet. But I will find a place to mount it. I may end up making a stand. I haven't quite decided yet. There we go. So now we're kind of looking at this whole wheel well situation and trying to figure out what we need to do. So on the wheel well side, this is pretty easy. I'm going to end up having to cut off the other half of the inner fender well here. We'll have to move this bracket and everything. And I really won't know for sure exactly how high we need to go here until I get the rims and the tires and we can set it on the chassis and figure out kind of where everything's going to sit. But one thing I am pretty damn confident on is that this is going to be way too low. My tire is going to need to be up much closer to the top of the trunk lid here. So I think what we need to do is figure out something to do with this bracket setup. Oh, I don't know if that's going to clear. Actually, now that I'm saying that, if I cut that, then I'm going to be right into the, yeah, running. That's not going to work. Okay. These front bars actually serve a lot of different purposes, but especially in a car like this, I'm not going to run any inner fenders, so these bars will provide support for my front fenders, support for my radiators, support for even like ignition coils and things like that will be able to be mounted off that. Just gives you a nice solid structure to kind of build your engine around, or build around your engine, I should say. One important measurement on these door bars is to make sure that it passes between your elbow and your shoulder. That's where it provides the greatest level of safety. So I brought the body back on top of the chassis, and mainly just to get the measurements of those furthest left and furthest right back corners, kind of know where they are. So I got my two beams in where they need to be and made sure I got those level. And then from there we can start mounting and testing some of the things that need to fit in that area. But I needed to establish the floor before we could really do that. Now, I am building a drag car, and yes, this is a huge fuel tank. It's a 20-gallon tank, which is way bigger than you see in most drag cars. But that's because I actually plan on taking this car on some events like Drag Week, where it's really important to have a decent amount of fuel to get you through the week, or else you're pulling over at every single gas station. Ready to put this crossbar on top, and it is the very last mandatory bar that I have to have in the car to certify to 8.5 seconds, I want to say. If we want to go to 7s, I've got to put the X bar in here, and I don't know if I want to do that yet. I think I'm not going to do that because I don't want to go with the funny car cage that goes inside the car. So if we start getting down to the 7s someday, which I don't think we ever will, but if we did, I would have to add that X, which wouldn't be a big deal to do later on. And the funny car insert that basically goes around your helmet, gives you like this little halo you sit inside. And I really don't want that on a street car. So this will be the last bar I think I'm going to put in, short of a couple more that need to run to the back here for our parachute mount. And yeah, I got a car that's gonna have a parachute because it needs a parachute. That's pretty cool. I hope. All right, get her going. Sit just right. I'm on to finishing this final piece of the cage up, and we're gonna bring this, basically keep it really tight to the tank here, and then straight down to catch this bottom cross member. And what that will do, we're gonna do 2 of those, so it'll give me a place to mount the parachute, and I can adjust the height wherever I end up really wanting it, because I don't know right now where that's gonna sit relative to the body, so it'll be nice to have just 2 rails here that I can tap in wherever I want the parachute mount to sit. Other quick note, yesterday my welding helmet shit the bed, and I just grabbed this one. I'm gonna link it in the description. I'm in love with this thing, and it was very cheap, but it's got the controls right on the outside of the helmet. My other one had them in here, and it was just a pain in the ass. So yeah, really impressed with it. Massive window. I had a big window in my old one. This one's even bigger than that. So loving this thing so far. So, all right, let's get to work. Now it's really starting to look like a race car, so really happy with how the frame came out. Just doing a little final touch-up and scuffing for the paint that will be going on it, making sure not to scuff the welds because those have to be inspected. But we're ready to get into more fun stuff in the next episode. As always, any questions, comments, concerns, or criticisms, throw them down in the comment section below me. Otherwise, everybody, thanks for watching and have a great day.